Kill the porch light for 1 minute and your yard will tell you a story you've never heard. Robins pour into the same hedge like clockwork. A cardinal slips to the leeward side of the spruce and vanishes. A chickadee threads the cedar and goes still with its head tucked under a wing. A hummingbird hardens into a thumbnail-sized statue on a favorite twig while its heart slows to a hush. And sometime around 3 a.m., a jay and a robin snap the dark with a sharp scold as an owl ghosts over your roof. None of this is sleep the way you sleep. And if you stand quietly, you can feel how the whole yard trades daylight bravado for night math. Angles, cover, heat, and silence. While overhead a river of migrants whispers north or south on single notes you can hear if you step outside and kill every light. Not sleep, not silence. A hidden night shift that decides who sings tomorrow. Welcome back. Tonight we will walk through that shift together, so by dawn you'll know where your birds went, why they chose those exact shadows, and how to make the dark hours safer without turning your home into a science lab. Start at dusk when decisions stack fast. Your yard is a map of risk and shelter, and healthy birds treat it like a board they know by heart. The same robin that brags from the chimney at 6 p.m. is the one you'll see arrowing low at 7:45 into a dense hedge you've half ignored all summer. Robins often roost communally, and if you stand still when the light drains, you'll hear a soft rustle as a dozen bodies thread into one shrub like coins into a velvet bag. Doves pick thick evergreens and tuck tight along trunks. Chickadees and titmice push deep into conifers or vine tangles, often in small groups, because a sphere of warm air between close bodies is worth its weight in calories. Cardinals favor the leeward side of shrubs so the wind scrubs past and heat doesn't bleed as fast. You'll sometimes catch a male dropping from a high perch to a human knee-height branch right before full dark. One last look, one quick step, then stillness. None of this is random. It's thermoregulation and safety math working in real time. Feathers trap air. Puffed bodies create insulation. Feet lock to branches so muscles can rest. And the sleep that follows is not an off switch. Research summarized by places like the Cornell Lab of Ornithology and Audubon notes that many birds cycle through micro-arousals, tiny wakeful checks to scan for danger, and some species can keep one side of the brain more alert when perched on the edge of a group so the outside eye faces threat. You can see this vigilance in posture, head tucked for warmth, then a brief untuck and a blink toward the yard, then stillness again. Hummingbirds flip the script entirely. As night falls, a ruby-throated hummingbird can drop into torpor. A controlled energy dive where body temperature and heart rate fall dramatically. So a bird that flickered like fire at dusk sits like a bead of glass by 1 a.m. At first light, you may catch the rewarm, a subtle trembling and a slow tilt back to the world, always from the same low perch if the place is proven safe. If you garden with nectar plants or keep a feeder, make a new habit. Step outside 10 minutes before sunrise and scan the bare twigs nearest your nectar. The statue you thought was a bud may suddenly breathe. While the yard tightens and quiets, the sky can do the opposite. On clear, calm nights after a cold front, tens of thousands of small migrants ride stable air at heights your eyes can't reach, and you can still meet them with your ears. The Smithsonian Migratory Bird Center and Cornell's nocturnal flight call work have shown that thrushes and warblers toss tiny syllables into the dark as they travel, Swainsons and gray-cheeked thrushes giving soft seeps, warblers tossing quick sips, white-throated sparrows sketching a thin P like a pencil line on glass. Your 90-second test is simple. Choose a clear, cool night between about 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Turn off every exterior light. Dim indoor lights facing windows. Step to the darkest part of your yard, face up, cup your ears, and stand still. If you want proof, open the voice memo app in your pocket and record for 1 minute, then boost the volume inside. You'll often hear notes you didn't realize cut the air above your roof. Light tugs at all of this. Birds often navigate by stars and the moon, and while research continues, many projects agree that city glow and unshielded lighting can pull migrants lower and closer to glass, where reflections of trees read like real habitat. That is also why you sometimes hear a robin or a northern mockingbird sing at midnight beneath a street lamp. Artificial day stretches the timetable, and some males sing to defend nighttime feeding or practice phrases while the neighborhood hum is lowest. Keep listening and you'll hear the other side of night, hunters and alarms. A barred owl's 8-beat hoot or a great horn's deep whoo sends a pressure wave through the yard. If you have jays or robins nesting nearby, they may break into hard scolds even at 3 a.m., a sound that can wake you from a dream. Raccoons and foxes test fence lines. Domestic cats, if allowed out, braid through shrubs. The yard's alarm web, wrens, robins, jays, answers with clicks and chacks, and a freeze follows, like a sheet pulled over a bed. If you hear that midnight scold, do one kind thing. Step outside, turn on a flashlight for 30 seconds, and sweep the ground to break the rhythm. Then bring the light back in and let the dark reset. Weather redraws the map every night. Warm, windless air lets birds roost higher with more space between bodies. Strong wind pushes everyone to the lee side and wedges them deeper into brush. Fog can bring migrants lower and slow them enough that you'll hear more over your roof. Thunderstorms can stall flights, then produce dramatic migration booms on the next clear post-front night. In heat waves, dawn water matters more than seed. In cold snaps, evergreens become hotels and brush piles become vaults. You can read these shifts by morning clues. Pinpoint droppings under a favorite roost branch, tiny footprints in frost or snow, a small circle of matted leaves beneath a shrub where a cluster huddled. Dew beaded on glass except for the streak a bird's feathered shoulder left at first light. And then there's the handoff you already know but may have never named. The moment when night vigilance lifts and the day takes the baton. It starts with contact calls, thin and practical. A chickadee's soft notes stitching the group together. A cardinals chip like a metronome in the blue-gray air. A dove's wing whistle as one body shifts on a cold perch. Then the first song from a high post. Then 5 songs. Then 20, until the neighborhood feels like it woke up at once when in truth it turned itself on the way a wave rolls a beach. Once you learn that rhythm, you can help without fanfare. Turn exterior lights off by default and switch to warm, shielded fixtures on motion sensors so your yard is dark most of the night but bright when you actually need to walk. During peak migration, pull blinds and curtains on big panes and dim the room so indoor lamps don't read as moonlit forest. Make windows visible from the outside with a simple 2x2-inch pattern of dots or lines, guidance promoted by groups like the American Bird Conservancy. So dawn and night reflections stop being traps. Place feeders either within 3 feet of glass or well beyond 30, so flight speeds are safe. Keep cats indoors at night or in a catio. Keep at least one dense evergreen or native thicket untrimmed, so there is honest roost cover every month of the year. And keep a shallow, shaded dish of clean water ready before sunrise, so the night's math ends with a sip that doesn't cost extra risk. If you want a few tiny night projects that change everything, try these this week. First, run the 90-second migration test on the next clear, cool night after a front, and write down the time you hear your first seep or tsip. Once you hear it, you will never unhear it. Second, stand at dusk where your yard opens to the street and watch which shrub or vine birds pour into. Mark it as sacred cover and promise not to prune it hard during nesting season. Third, set your phone reminder for 1 hour before bed labeled lights down and walk your exterior like a pilot dimming a cockpit. Fourth, at first light, do a 30-second sweep under your largest window. If you ever see a feather smudge, mark that pane with outside dots by sundown. Fifth, in the hottest month, scrub the bird bath every 2 to 3 days and keep a flat stone in the middle so tiny feet have purchase in low water. In the coldest month, swap to an insulated dish or carry warm water at sunrise. None of this turns your home into a research station. It just means you live like the night matters, which it does to every small life that uses your map. If you love extra credit, learn a few night sounds on purpose. The mockingbird's late shift is a tumble of copied phrases with pauses between runs. A robin's midnight song under a streetlight is purer and slower with a sweet upward lilt. A white-throated sparrow's pee is a thin glass needle. Thrush seeps feel like drops from a pipette. A nighthawk's peent snaps like a rubber band over rooftops near downtown ballfields in summer. A barred owl's cadence is who cooks for you all, with a belly to the last note. Give yourself 3 calm nights to fail, and the 4th will surprise you. And if your curiosity crosses into care, know that the institutions who keep teaching us, Cornell Lab of Ornithology with its migration maps and sound archives, the Smithsonian Migratory Bird Center with studies on night flight and orientation, and the American Bird Conservancy with practical window fixes, are simply handing ordinary people the small tools that move outcomes by the hundreds of millions when cities and homeowners use them together. The payoff for you is not a certificate. It's a yard that feels legible after dark, where you can say out loud at 11:42, that's a robin under the street lamp. At 12:10, that thin note is a white-throated. At 1:03, that is a thrush. And at 3:07, that scold means an owl is close. It's the quiet pride of knowing your porch is dark, your glass is visible, your shrubs are dense, your water is ready, and your cat is safe inside, so your map is kinder than it was a month ago. And at dawn, when the first contact calls stitch the yard together and the chorus lifts, you will hear not just song, but continuity, the night shift handing you back the day. If this opened the door a crack on what your birds do after dark, step through it tonight. Kill the lights, stand still for 90 seconds, and listen for the river over your roof. Then tell me in the comments the first night sound you catch this week. Mockingbird at midnight. Scold at 3 a.m., the faintest seep you've ever heard, and the one fix you'll try before bed. Whether it's dots on a dangerous pane, lights down on a timer, or protecting the exact shrub you watch them pour into at dusk. I read every story, and the map we draw together in those details becomes the highway more birds use to make it safely to morning.